For some reason, all the senior officers are standing around in the medical bay for this. Like, that seems like a good idea.
Yeah,
Put the captain in the same place with it.
It's like, you would think, I mean, like,
the
vice president never travels with the president.
Right. You
exactly
think the
for that
captain
reason.
Or Riker wouldn't be in the room together. But they're all curious. They're like, we want to fucking see.
I want to see that kid.
You guys want to see a dead body?
So so the kid shows up. Pulaski takes off that plastic like goop thing or whatever, and he
Styricon. It starts with an S. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so he's able to communicate telepathically with her.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, this kid is dope." Like, "Oh, I got."
He's a telepath. Is this before or after she gets him on the shuttle?
When she gets him on the shuttle.
Oh, okay, so yeah, there's a great argument that she and Picard have about like they're butting heads.
Yeah.
And she talks him into she's like, look, let me take a shuttle out, then you can just blow me up if it gets out of hand.
Exactly.
And
he's like,
forces Data to go with her.
Well, because he probably
he's a mutant.
Yeah.
But still, it's like he doesn't find out he's been ordered to do it till he gets to the docking bay. And he's like, Picard said to do this? And she's like, yeah, get on.
What an awful...
I thought she was lying.
Wench.
Like, I really did think she was lying.
They make it seem like that.
Yeah,
for sure.
But it never comes up again, so I guess she wasn't.
Well, she gets, like, her joints start to hurt, like an old person.
Arthritis, she gets the first inflammation.
And then she's like, oh, this is...
The kids are causing it.
This is, yeah.
The kids aren't all right.
And the kids aren't all right, and I got it. I got
the deadly years.
I got the deadly years. I got the DY. And so they're trying to figure out how to reverse it, and they're like, we can't. There's no way.
Right. They go back to the space station with the kid, I guess.
Yes. And
because they're like, fuck it, we're gonna die anyway.
And so what they do is Pulaski kind of like figures up a theory that it could be this, like the immune system. There's these airborne antibodies that are attacking everything. If we could remove those, it'll return everyone to normal.
Right.
But like you need to have something like to go. You have to like you have to have
a filter.
Like, well, you have something. You have to have something to go back to. Like this is what it was like before. Go back to that. And I guess
sort of like an earlier save game.
Yeah, kind of. I think so. Yeah. And hair saves the day, just like in AI.
That's right, because they go hunting through her cabin. They're like, we need anything. Hairbrush.
Yeah.
That's an actual line in the episode. Hairbrush.
And so, like, I guess everyone else had, like,
they're like, why is this bitch so clean?
Like, blood samples on board.
But she doesn't have one for some reason. I guess because she just came on board so recently?
Or maybe it's like, why would we need a blood sample?
Why would we need a blood sample?
I mean, for everyone else, they're like, like, hey, like, you're on a medical type.
Right, but she's also, has to be subject to that. Why? I think there is a specific reason given why she doesn't have one available, but I don't know what it was.
Hair saves the day, like an AI.
The day, yes.
And she's normal again.
Right, except I didn't cry when Hair saved the day this time.
Oh, yeah. You still like the ending of AI?
I don't know if I do or not. I haven't seen the movie in over 10 years.
The ending of AI, man,
I think probably...
That's like a watershed moment.
In Spielberg's career. I think in retrospect, without having watched the movie in a long time, I think that movie ends... There's a very clear ending for that movie that the movie's not brave enough to take.
He claims that...
Kubrick always had that other ending.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
That's bullshit, dude. Kubrick would have ended it at the bottom of the sea with the kid wishing. Yeah, which is a fucking punch in the gut in the fucking Articles of Confederation.
Yeah, it is.
And that's Kubrick's jam.
Yep, that's Kubrick up and down, back and forth.
Like, oh yeah, he's gonna like tack on this like, oh everything, like actually he gets his wish and he gets to hang out with his mom one last time. Well, it's this third act that has nothing to do with like the rest of the movie. It's not even a third act; it's like a fourth act. Yeah, it's like an epilogue. An epilogue where like aliens are now running the Earth and give a shit about this robot boy enough to like they love him so like they're like to give him a death of his own. It's ridiculous. It's a shame because there's some amazing work in that movie. Like the scene where the mom abandons him in the woods. Like Haley Joel Osment, that's probably the best work I've ever seen him do. Like
when he's screaming and begging not to be left. Like, I remember my mom liked the movie a lot, and so she was like, "Well, I think your dad would like it," and like he made us turn the movie off at that scene. He's like, "I can't do this anymore. Fuck this," and he got up and left. And
that metal that crazy carnival, like the what was that called?
The
flesh
demolition
fair.
derby.
The flesh fair.
Yes, where they're basically taking the old robots and like
destroying them. Yeah, and they think he's a real boy,
right? And
like the robots are like, "This is a real boy. He's stuck in here," and like the guy
save him. Yeah.
And the guy figures out, like he like runs like a scanner on him, like no, like he's not real, but that's insane. God, that movie's so good. I might watch that after we're done recording, and then just turn it off.
You can just end it at that point. Like, that's the beauty of home video, is like, you don't have to keep watching. Like, when you're done with Aliens, you don't have to put Alien 3 on. You can just let it end right there.
But I mean, like, as far as the whole his whole character arc, I mean, he goes through this journey to, like, the journey itself is
about him learning to dream and imagine. Yeah. And that's the ultimate triumph of
and he makes it to the Blue Fairy.
Right. I think the problem is that emotionally, for most audiences, like it is a dick punch. Like it knocks your dick in the dirt, and I guess I don't know. Like, I mean, I agree. It needed to end sooner, but I just keep wondering, like, is there a way to satisfy it and make the audience feel like, okay, he's learned to dream, and that's what's most important. Or maybe you could also interpret the end of the movie as his dream, as he's dying.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think it is. I think the film is very clear about saying,
like juice-filled robot aliens unthaw him, bring him back to life, bring Teddy back to life,
and say,
use hair to save the day.
And he gets a birthday party, and it can only work for one day.
Well, that's all our technology can do it for. Like, really? Robot aliens? Like, you can...
Liars.
You're a liar. Lying robot aliens.
Dicks. Anyway.
Man, that movie was so good, though.
It is a very good movie.
Jude Law was great in it.
He was. Yeah. He does some very subdued work in it. But it's nice. Gigolo Joe.
Gigolo Joe, what do you know?
I'm afraid to watch that movie again because it hurts so much. I've seen it twice.
And whenever their actual son, comes out of it or whatever he's in, and he's eating food and like...
David, you will break.
Not mocking. What is he?
He's like jamming food into his mouth. He's like egging David on.
Yeah, he's like kind of egging him on, and so David starts eating like spinach, and his face like starts to like melt.
It breaks, yeah. And then the boy tricks him into trying to cut off his mother's hair, which is how he gets the hair.
Nearly pokes her eye out.
Oh, god damn. That kid was... I mean, he's just a little kid, but at the same time...
Again, little kids are the worst.
They are evil. Yeah. I wish that kid had died. I wish he did...
All right.
I wish he'd gotten that disease and,
not made it.
Not made it, yeah. I wonder if that's the same disease that Mickey's daughter in Star Trek Into Darkness has.
Yeah. Oi! You that Sherlock, then? I was thinking about that. Probably the best line of that episode.
Did we say that?
You said that. You that Sherlock, then. Our last episode this week, A Matter of Honor. The best episode this week.
Like head and shoulders. This is like a 4-star episode, I think.
Apparently Starfleet and the Klingon Empire have a student exchange program. Yeah,
well, can we talk about the opening scene of this episode where they're on the phaser range?
Yes.
That's a first.
Yep.
And I thought that was kind of cool. Although part of me wonders, like, wouldn't they just use the holodeck for that?
True.
But whatever. It's a really neat, like, it's this completely black room where they shoot colored dots.
Yeah.
And Picard and Riker are standing back to back. And he's like, you want to go live with the Klingons? You want to go to Klingon summer camp? And Riker's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fucking awesome. And so, yeah, he gets aboard onto a Klingon ship.
Yep.
And I guess the first officer
gets demoted?
I guess so.
Temporarily demoted?
And he's like, I don't want you here. And he's like, I'm fucking here to stay, dude. And they brawl, and Riker beats the shit out of him.
Right away.
And And it's a pretty badass fight. Like he slams his head into like a steel pipe,
and like causes the lights to flicker,
and then kind of like, but you fucking want some?
Yep. Well,
I can do this all day.
Well,
all day.
And it shows that he's a student of what he's doing. And there's a great scene in 10 Forward where he's eating a bunch of Klingon food.
Yeah.
Like learning, like. Dude's serious about it. He's not just showing up. Like, he does his homework, which is a nice insight into that character. Is like he's not just very charming and getting away with stuff. Like he
does his homework. Yeah. Like he like hooks up with Worf. Like Worf's like, this is what you need to do. Like their like traditions and whatnot.
The weakening and because like you will be expected to kill your captain. You know, when he starts to weaken and the officer below you will do it, it's honorable because once you've outlived your use, like it's better to die than to live and be useless. And he gives. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, and the first officer, Clag, says like his father was
kidnapped by the Romulans
and held prisoner, and so like he's like weakened and old and useless.
He's got like PTSD,
which is like the worst thing ever. Like
right, he won't talk to him anymore.
Klingons are supposed to die in battle.
That's the only honorable way to die. But before Riker leaves, Worf gives him a little transponder.
Yeah.
Just in case. Just in cases. And it should be noted that there are other exchange students aboard the Enterprise right now. It's not just Klingons. Wesley sees, because they all look alike, a dude with a harmonica bong. And he's like, hey, dude!
Shit. A harmonica bong. And
he's like, hey, remember whenever we took the Starfleet exams together?
Coming of age, bro. Remember that?
And he's like, I don't know.
A Benzite. Mordok.
Yeah,
he's like, Mordok, sup, bro? And he's like, I'm Mendon. And he's like, oh.
Well, we can still be pals.
I guess.
But he's kind of a know-it-all, Mendon is. He's very obnoxious and sort of like, I can do shit better than anybody. And, but yeah, that's the B plot is Mendon, when they're making the exchange, Mendon's scanning the Klingon ship and he sees something weird, but he doesn't say anything about it. Like he's spending a lot of time looking at the neck of the ship. There's this weird energy reading that he's getting and he's like way into it, but he doesn't say anything to Picard or any of the senior officers. He's just reading it, keeping it for himself.
Yeah.
It's like he found a Playboy in the bathroom and instead of leaving it for everybody to use, took it back to his quarters.
There's a point where they're eating in the mess hall.
Yeah, where Riker is eating in the mess hall, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The Klingon ship does not look like a place I would want to be, man.
It's dirty and dark.
Dark and red and...
Everyone just seems like an asshole.
But Riker...
Like the kind of guys who would like...
fuck with you just to fuck with you.
Yeah, and then slap you on the back really hard and be like, we're having a good time, right? Like, fucking no.
No, you're a bully.
Like, I'm thoughtful and quiet and reserved.
Right. Yeah, they're in the mess hall, and Riker's eating, but he's not eating a lot, and they're like, don't you like the food? And he's like, I'm not that hungry. And he's like, no, he says it's delicious. Yeah. They're like, well, if you like that, you'll love this. And they give him a dish that he had been trying on the Enterprise, but it's alive.
It's like, they're like worms.
Yeah, like lots of worms getting eaten on this show.
Yeah.
This is a worm-eating show.
And then...
and they're like, go ahead and try it.
And then Klingon female is like, maybe I'll take him back to my room and have my way with him. Ah.
Yeah, and they're like... And
then another one, like, says something.
Right, and they're like, they're curious to see if you would endure. And he's like, one or both of them?
And they're like, ah! They fucking love it.
And she's like, maybe I'll take you back to my room later.
Yeah, and then I guess she's like serious. She's like, oh shit, like all right, you made a good joke. Let's fuck. And that's all it takes with the Klingons, apparently.
Well, he didn't back down. He looked like he was ready for some fight sex. Battle sex.
They discover the Kargan, the Klingon commander.
Right. Find something, the same thing that Mendon saw.
And he's like, tells Riker, like, this is,
this was an attack.
Yeah, like, this was a trick. The Enterprise is going to attack us, so we're going to attack them first.
Right.
So they cloak, and, like, usual, like, radio silence, like,
Right.
So the Enterprise can't figure out where they are. And
meanwhile,
Kargan is like, tell me everything you know about that ship.